Hello and welcome back to Megabuilds. In October 2023, a major announcement reshaped international football. Morocco officially joined Spain and Portugal in hosting the 2030 FIFA World Cup. However, a significant issue has surfaced. Both Spain and Morocco had their eyes on hosting the tournament's final match. According to FIFA's strict criteria, they'll need a stadium to accommodate 80,000 spectators. At the moment, Morocco doesn't have a stadium like that, but that hasn't deterred the North African nation. Instead, it's launched an ambitious construction project to build what has become the largest stadium on Earth. Not just in Morocco, not even in Africa, but globally. This stadium is the centerpiece of Morocco's campaign. Welcome to the story of the Hassan II Stadium, a cutting-edge sports arena whose innovative design, logistic hurdles, and surrounding controversies are stirring global conversation. Why is the final match so important for Morocco, though? For Morocco, co-hosting the 2030 World Cup is a dream. The country has tried and failed to host the tournament several times. Its first bid was 1994's World Cup, where it narrowly lost to the US by 3 votes. 4 years later, they tried again but lost to France. The pattern continued in the 2006 and 10 bids, and in 2026, Morocco put forth yet another proposal, only to once again lose out to joint bid from US, Mexico, and Canada. These repeated setbacks make Morocco the country with the most unsuccessful World Cup bids, aside from Germany. Yet the nation's persistence paid off when it was awarded a co-hosting role for the Centennial 2030 tournament. But why so many rejections, especially Morocco's deep-rooted love for football? It certainly wasn't due to lack of talent. Morocco's national team began its journey in 1957, just a year after gaining independence. The country made history in the 70s as the first African team for qualifying to the World Cup through the standard qualifying process. They reached the round of 16 in 1986 and most notably made it to the semifinals in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, becoming the first African and Arab nation to do so. Still, FIFA's decision-making tends to focus more on infrastructure and logistics than national pride or footballing history. When it comes to managing an international sporting event of this scale, Morocco faces several logistic bottlenecks. Most notably, the country is heavily dependent on Casablanca's Mohammed V International Airport. As the only major international hub, any issues, be it weather delays or other, could severely affect the influx of fans, teams, and officials. Morocco has made strides in upgrading its transport systems. One of the standout projects is the Al Barak high-speed rail launched in 2018. The rail line has dramatically cut travel times between cities like the Tangier, Rabat, and Casablanca. Despite this, many of the cities selected to host the match still lack the urban transport infrastructure like Germany or Japan. This can lead to serious delays and congestion, especially with millions of fans expected to travel around the country. To mitigate these issues, Morocco has unveiled ambitious plans for transport upgrades. In early 2024, the government committed to expanding airport capacity at key hubs, including Casablanca, Agadir, and Marrakech. It's also pledged to extend the country's high-speed rail network to connect all major cities and stadiums. According to FIFA's requirements, the final game of the tournament must be played in a venue that seats at least 80,000 people. Most assume Spain's Santiago Bernabeu Stadium would be the natural choice, with its modern facilities and legacy. But Morocco is determined to outshine its European neighbors with a brand new mega venue, the Hassan II Stadium. Planned to hold 115,000 fans, the stadium will not only meet FIFA's requirements but exceed them. Construction is underway 38 miles north of Casablanca in the town of El Mansoura. It's a strategically chosen location, positioned nearly halfway between Morocco's busiest airport and the nation's capital, Rabat, making travel easier for attendees. The stadium design philosophy is a marriage of modern European architecture and Moroccan cultural motifs. One of the standout features is a large aluminum lattice roof that fully encircles the venue. This was inspired by Munich's Olympia Park, but adapted to reflect the aesthetics of traditional Moroccan nomadic tents. In addition to its massive capacity, the stadium will include 5 levels of premium amenities ranging from VIP lounges and corporate suites to a royal box. Inside and outside the venue, botanical gardens will add beauty and environmental value, turning the stadium into more than just an arena. The stadium has seen multiple design revisions over the past 15 years. In 2010, French firm Scow introduced a concept that featured flowing curved exterior panels. That plan was scrapped, and the Spanish architectural firm Cruz & Ortiz later proposed a more aerodynamic structure. However, the final design went to a collaboration between the world-renowned firm Populous, known for their work on Wembley Stadium and Las Vegas Sphere, and the Moroccan studio Oulalu and Choy. With only 5 years until the World Cup, timing is critical. Construction on the Hassan II Stadium began in August 2024. The area has been fenced off and early groundwork has begun. Satellite imagery reveals a vast expanse that looks more like a Mars colony than a stadium at this point. However, when overlaid with architectural renderings, the outlines of the project begin to emerge. The central mound will be the stadium, surrounding green spaces and transport link. The targeted completion date is 2028, giving the developers just over 3 years to build one of the largest and most complex stadiums ever attempted. Whether they can meet this tight timeline remains to be seen. A mega project of this magnitude doesn't come cheap. The Hassan II stadium alone is expected to cost around 5 billion Moroccan dirham, or 500 million USD. But Morocco isn't stopping there. The government has committed to renovating 6 additional stadiums and expanding its transportation infrastructure, bringing the total cost to an estimated 52 billion dirhams, or 5.2 billion USD. Of this, 2.5 billion will come from public fund. The rest will be financed through a combination of loans from domestic and international institutions. The African Development Bank has already pledged 650 million. There's speculation that China, which has invested heavily in African infrastructure in recent years, could also contribute, but this remains unconfirmed. Beyond budgetary concerns, there are human and ethical issues at play. The Moroccan government asserts that thousands of jobs will be created both during construction and after the stadium opens, with hopes that this investment will revitalize Casablanca's economy. However, critics warn of possible exploitation. They point to the labor controversies surrounding the World 2022 Cup in Qatar, where reports of poor working conditions for migrant laborers drew international condemnation. Morocco, as a transit hub for African migrants, may end up employing a vulnerable workforce for the stadium's construction. Whether this labor force will be treated ethically remains an open question. Then there's the matter of sports washing, a term that refers to governments using major sports events to distract from political issues. In Morocco's case, some observers argue that hosting the World Cup could be an effort to divert global attention from its controversial occupation of Western Sahara, a territory it has claimed since 1975, despite opposition from the indigenous Sahrawi population. Even if the stadium is completed and successfully hosts the final, its long-term utility remains uncertain. Morocco's top football clubs, Raja CA and Wydad AC, are slated to use it as their new home ground. But these teams typically draw in less than stellar crowds, less than 20,000 fans per match, far short of filling a 115,000-seat venue. To make the stadium more economically viable, Morocco may look to host international concerts, sporting events, and public gatherings. Its world-class amenities make it an attractive option for these kinds of events. Still, the risk remains that the stadium could become a costly, underused white elephant. So, will Morocco actually host the 2030 World Cup final? Only time will tell. What is clear, however, is that the Hassan II Stadium is more than just a construction project. It's a bold statement of ambition. Its completion would mark a new chapter in Moroccan sports and infrastructure. But with great ambition comes great risk, and the world will be watching closely to see whether this audacious endeavor lives up to promise. What do you think of the Morocco's push to host the final, and how do you feel about the Hassan II Stadium's design and long-term viability?